figure out how I'm gonna get this money by tomorrow.
not throwing shade, but it's just a poverty mindset.
Yeah. He not Kardashian. Look at him, he look like us. Hey Spice Squad, happy Vlogmas. Thank you guys for tuning in. If this is your first time here, my name is Nielle. Welcome to my channel. Make sure you press the red subscribe button down below and that bell so you don't miss a thing your girl posts. You see, I have two lovely guests with me. These are friends and family, but they are very important people that you want to know. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves and then we're going to jump right in. So ladies first.
My name is Shaleah and I'm a financial coach. I've been doing this for a little over 2 years now. And really the main reason why I want to help people is because I've seen in my family the difference that it can make when you plan and when you don't plan. So I want to be able to be that person in the community, be the light, right? And help people when it comes to their finances, because without that financial literacy, really it can make a generational difference.
Awesome.
Cool. And I'm Kevin Washington, Regional Vice President. I've been in this industry for 24 years, and I love the fact that we have this venue to talk with you guys, especially with two young ladies in that young age bracket that want to learn some things about money, because that's the goal, is start teaching the younger generation how to become financial independent. And that's the whole crusade, to make sure you reach your financial goals when you want to reach your financial goals, and we'll touch on that a little bit later. So hello, Spice Squad.
Thanks, Kevin, and thank you both for coming on to the Spice Squad. I know myself and the Spice Squad, and anybody that's not a part of the Spice Squad, make sure you subscribe. But we're definitely gonna learn a lot from this, else it's gonna be a very much like a fruitful video, this Vlogmas, and I'm glad we are on here doing Vlogmas during the Christmas season, because most of us are spending more money than we typically do during any other month. I know I am, and sometimes you can get that number below where you wanted at. I was telling y'all about that in a different video. Like, you know, I'm not broke, I'm not like, you know, in debt over this, but I'm like, my account went a little under where I really like my number going under. Y'all probably know what I'm talking about. So yeah, we're gonna do this Q&A style. I'm gonna ask them some questions that general questions that you're probably wondering, and then things that like I don't know that I probably should know, and we're gonna get into it, and we're gonna get some gems and some jewels that we can take back with us. Okay, first question is gonna go to the lovely Shaleah, and we have what is a financial coach, and what are the benefits of what you do for families? Why do I need a financial coach? Why do they need a financial coach? What is it?
Right. So a financial coach is really just a person that can help you to achieve your financial goals. So maybe you said, I want to buy a house, right? That's something you've already done. But maybe somebody says, I want to buy a house, or I'm talking to millennials. Kevin might give, you know, some other examples. But yeah, a beach house, vacation. Or, you know, you want to buy a car, or, you know, something even bigger where you say, I need to save this amount for my children. We will help guide you through that so that you can reach that goal. And so when it comes to retirement, a lot of times people don't even plan for it, and then they just reach that age and they say, hey, I want to retire, but they haven't yet thought about how much, right? So if you want to, let's say you said you want to retire, you know, at 60 and have $5,000 a month each month in retirement. Well, how are you going to get there? So we start with the end in mind, and we'll show you how much you should have saved in your investments and your portfolio to reach that number each month. So that's something that we can do to help our clients when it comes to their financial goals.
Okay, and Kevin?
Yes, absolutely. The financial coaching part is like, I like to sum it up as being able to teach people how to make smarter decisions with their money, how to get out of debt, how to plan for retirement. We all know that we have a goal in mind, but how do we get there? Like, how do we get there? If you want to go travel somewhere, you normally put in the GPS, and financial coaching is just a financial GPS to show you how to reach your goals and dreams. Because everybody want to obtain something, but most people just guess. Throw darts. I want to retire at a certain age, but they don't have a game plan. I want my kids to go to college, but I don't have a game plan. So it's best to put that plan in place. If you ask yourself, do rich people keep getting richer? You probably would say yes. Do rich people have financial planners? You probably would say yes. So if rich people keep getting richer, doesn't it make sense to listen to the same people they listen to?
Yeah, right. So can anyone have a financial coach? What if I like don't make that much money? I only have a little bit of money. I don't have that much money compared to you. Like, do I really need a financial coach?
And that's where a lot of people fall short. They think they need a ton of money to get started, right? And you don't. And that's why most middle income families, they level off when they're doing better than their parents. but they don't think they have enough money to talk to a financial planner. If you got $25 a month, you need a coach. Because sooner or later, you're going to start, if you sit with them, they're going to show you how to free up more money, and then you're going to make more money, you're going to free up more money, and you become to the point where you're financially independent.
Right. And Kevin, you said something that made me think, like, a lot of people will plan more for a wedding, for their children's birthday parties. You know, you see people do the elaborate parties with the balloon arches and the chairs, than they do for, you know, even the child's education or for their own retirement. And I think that that's backwards. You know, like, we need to, as our, you know, future, is our legacy more important than those immediate things that are happening right now?
Oh, just touch more base on that, right?
Go ahead. No, go ahead. This is good.
Say, when we get to the point, we'll do all the planning for that party, and we'll save money for it. And then when it's over, wherever that money we had to save for some reason it just disappears now. So if you was able to save for that party, then you can keep on saving for whatever else once that party or whenever that event is over.
Good. That's really good. Both touched on, I think, retirement in your introductions. Why is it important for you to start a retirement plan early, Kevin? Like, why should I be planning for my retirement? Like, Shaleah and I, we're in our 20s. Like, why should we be planning now?
It's a great question. When your parents were younger, they had this, what they called a three-legged stool. They had a pension, they had Social Security, and they had some money for retirement. Most of you guys right now will never get a pension because most companies don't even offer them anymore. Social Security, if you ever read that statement, it says it might be exhausted, so you might not get that. So your only leg that you have to stand on is the savings. So if you say you want to retire at age 50, 55 years old, and then the question would be, how much money would you want to have coming in on a monthly basis to make that happen? That gets kind of fuzzy most of the time. So if we don't know that number, then that means we don't know how much money we need to have saved up. And if we don't know that, then we don't know how much to put away to get there. So now we roll up to this age, 55, 60 years old, we don't have any money to retire off of. Now you got one or two options. Either you're going to reduce your standard of living, or you got to find a way to make some extra money. And what do most people do after they retire from one job?
They
get another job, right? That's not the American dream.
No, you want to not have to work. I don't want to have to work.
Exactly.
Hopefully I can retire early and I don't have to work no more. I want to just live, live the life, live comfortably. Anything to add?
I think Kevin pretty much hit everything when it comes to retirement. Yeah, because like he said, when you're younger, you have more time, right? So a young person our age, right, not $200 a month for 35 years and they'll be a millionaire. Whereas, the later that you wait, that number now increases. Not 200, it might be 400, it might be 500.
For 30 years?
Yeah.
Or about to be a millionaire. I could
right?
She just gave us the key to how to be a millionaire. $200 a month for 30 years.
And so it comes down to what, budget. She's like, I'm
60, and then I can add, and the more that I make money, the more I can add to saving every month. Exactly. So by the time I get to that 60 age mark with my hubby, like, we can be, hopefully, we can be living good.
Period.
In your own words, these words I'm about to bring up, I've heard them, I'm sure you've heard them, and I'm like, what's that? Is that somebody's name? Is Roth? But can you explain Roth? And what's the difference between a traditional and then a Roth IRA?
Okay, great question. Yeah, so a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA, 401k, those are all tax codes. What matters is what's inside of them, right? So you might have a Roth IRA, which is a retirement plan. And what I like most about the Roth IRA is that you can put into it and your money grows tax deferred. If you withdraw after 59.5 or 5 years, whichever comes sooner, you're gonna pay 0 taxes, right? Because that's after tax dollars opposed to your 401k, which you will pay taxes when you withdraw that money, right? So back to that example of $200 a month for 35 years. If you have 1.3 million, imagine not paying any taxes, right? Because you already paid the taxes on the $80,000 that you put in the beginning. So, that's a Roth IRA. And also another benefit of it is that you can pull out of it or take from it for your first home, right? So you go to buy your first home, you can take up to $10,000 out of there. You can take out as well for children's expenses. On the opposing side, the traditional IRA, you will pay taxes on that one. And then another thing that I want to say about those, if you're under 50, then you can max out. So when we say max out, we mean you can put the most that the IRS will allow you. And this year, 2022, next year is going to be different, but in 2022, you can put up to $500 if you're under 50 or $600 if you're over.
So if I have any of my old heads watching, I got a couple more weeks to put, you know, the max amount. Anything to add, Kevin?
Well, actually, you don't have just a couple of weeks. You have up until April 15th of next year.
All right, a couple more months.
Yeah, to put into, when she says 500, she's saying 500 a month, which is 6,000 for the year. So if you want to fully fund this year, you still have up to April 15th of next year, and then you can start next year as well. So now you got a chance to play catch up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that the 500 a month for 30 years, and then
if you do that, yeah, that's gonna be
you're
proof.
gonna be set
You're
up.
Gonna be set.
You're gonna be set.
That's like 3.2 million. Yeah,
if
if
you
you're
fully
doing
max your IRA out, you guys gonna be very, very well off.
All right, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get this money by tomorrow. That sounds good. I'm gonna be a rapper. I don't gotta be a celebrity to do this. If you are in charge of your finances, or you know what you're doing, you have a financial coach, you can be set up for success and live comfortably. Like, you don't have to be rich, but you can be wealthy and comfortable. And that's kind of like I want to live.
And like what Kevin was saying about the whole GPS, if we stay on that analogy, the reason why you need a financial coach is because they can tell you things that you didn't know. So like GPS, right? They tell you when they foresee traffic ahead, and maybe save you some minutes on that by selecting another route. Well, take for example, now you're a business owner. Well, now there's a whole new world, right, for business owners that we can show you strategies to lower that, you know, taxable income. And so that's why having a financial coach is really important.
What can millennials do now that would help them in the short term and long term, in your opinion?
Yeah, so I think short term, the biggest thing is emergency funds. I think a lot of people in the pandemic realized how important that was because so many people got laid off. Some people got, you know, they just lost their job, or they wanted to quit because they were under some adverse conditions. And so I think having that short-term emergency fund will allow for any changes that might happen, or something goes wrong at home, you need to replace something, then that short-term emergency fund will make up the difference. So 3 to 6 months of your living expenses, which means everything that you're spending in a month, that's 1 month, and then 3 to 6 months of that. And then the next from there, we talk about midterm accounts, and then the long term would be your retirement. So long term, making sure that you're putting into your 401k, especially if they're matching, because a lot of people, they miss that. And that can make a huge difference because if they're matching up to 6% and you're not putting anything, you're missing out on free money. Exactly.
And anything to add to
Perfect.
that?
I'm not a millennial, but
But you know.
just to piggyback on that emergency fund, just to really break it down, because when she talking about having that 3 to 6 months saved up, it has to stay there. So if an emergency, let's say that 3 months is $3,000, even though I know your expenses might be more, but if it's $3,000, which is $1,000 a month, and your refrigerator breaks, that costs $800. Now you only have $2,200. Even though you were there before, you're not there now. So if one of your friends call you up and say, let's go to dinner, you got to say, no, I can't do it. And you got to make the sacrifice to get back up to that $3,000. Then you can start going out to dinner and have some more fun. But make sure that emergency fund stays where it's supposed to be before you start enjoying life and getting deeper and deeper in debt.
Priorities, like get out of that paycheck to paycheck mindset, and like, you know, I'm gonna figure out how to get something to eat. I might not be able to do this and that, but I'm gonna figure out how to go out to eat. Sometimes you gotta eat at home. You gotta warm up those leftovers.
Yeah.
You gotta make meal spaghetti for a couple days. Like, you gotta think smarter. So Kevin, you're not a millennial, but is it ever too late to start investing? Like,
absolutely not. As I said, I've probably talked to you about this before, but the term I like to talk to people about, like, if you're hungry, would you rather have a half a sandwich or no sandwich at all? Right? You want to have a half a sandwich, so you got to start eating somewhere. And even if your parents hasn't been to that particular point yet, the sooner they start, the better off their finances is going to be. And what you're planning the same way, the better off your financial is going to be down the road. So you will be in a position to help them out in retirement, or they're going to be able to help you out. God forbid something happens, they're going to leave a legacy behind. And that's what it is all about, is that generational wealth where the rich has been doing for a long time. The middle income families, they might leave a car behind or some jewelry, but the financial independence, they don't leave that behind. And we can get better at that. No matter how old you are, you got to start.
agree.
Right. Yeah, I think people get so prideful off of like getting out the mud, right?
Yeah.
But what difference could you make if you help your children not have to start over every single time, or your grandchildren, or your nieces and nephews if you don't have kids? What difference could you make if you didn't have to start over every single time because you didn't want to sit down with somebody to, you know, put these simple steps into place?
And I think you were saying when we talked earlier that you had someone say that I want to create a garden for my child. I don't want her to get it out the mud. She's gonna be able to get it from the garden.
Exactly.
So I love that analogy. I love that. And Kevin, what are some big no-nos when you see clients or people in general when it comes to?
One of the biggest ones is getting a large income tax return. When I ask people, do they want more money for income tax return, they say yes. So the question I want to ask you guys, and think about this: if I had a bank, and let's just call it the funny money bank. Every time you got paid, you put money in my bank. The only way you can get it out is only once a year. And when you get it out, I'm going to give you a 0% return on that money. Most people wouldn't put money in a bank like that because you're not getting any return.
No.
That's what we're doing with our income taxes. Every time you get paid, you're putting money into the IRS. You can only take that money out when you file taxes, which is once a year, and then they give you back a 0% return on it. So if you're getting back $5,000, the only reason the government is giving you back that $5,000, if some of you guys have children and that's what you got, this large income tax return, you're like, yay. But the only reason they're giving it back to you is because you gave them too much money, right? So if you take that $5,000 and divide it by 12, that's $500 every year that the government is giving you. I mean, that you're giving the government for no reason at all. And you probably say, well, Kevin, I got to pay taxes.
Right.
Yeah, you have to pay taxes, but you don't have to overpay taxes.
Right.
And when you get a refund, you're overpaying taxes. So you just mentioned about how I'm going to get this $500. If I'm getting $6,000 back in income tax return, that's $500 right there that you can start.
I could have invested to make me a millionaire.
Instead of giving it to the government.
$3 million by 60. That's great. And are like you guys, like, would y'all be able to help us with that? Like, will we make
well, I don't do taxes, but I'll tell them what they'll go ask their accountant. You know, they can go talk to the accountant and ask them their questions, because most accountants know, they just don't tell you, because they know if they got you more money back, you're gonna tell. I'm gonna tell more. Exactly.
They gonna get you all this money.
Exactly. But a good accountant should say to you, that's too much money. You're giving too much money back from the government. You need to get more money in your household so you can do the right things with it, because we get this refund. We're doing one of three things. We're going on vacation. We're doing some renovation around the house, or we're paying off some bills, mostly that we accumulated on Christmas, and now we're getting deeper and deeper in debt.
And I think you said, like, the rich people, they at the end of the year might write them a check. This how much I owe you exactly, so I didn't give you a penny more.
Exactly.
I gave you exactly what I was supposed to. You needed. Okay. And anything to add to that?
I think Kevin hit it. What is so important is that we pay ourselves first. So I'm now on the business owner side, so it's a lot different now. But when I was, on the employee side, I adjusted my take-home pay, and so I got more money in the check. And from there, I wasn't yet investing at that point, but I did get more money in the check versus waiting for it all at the end of the year. So if you're adjusting, like Kevin said, it allows for maybe your ends are not so tight, but I really think you should figure out if when you do, knowing better, you can do better, right? So when you do adjust that, then you can budget better to invest more throughout the year.
I don't know about y'all, but I need to go check to make sure I'm not overpaying them, because I feel like I don't get that much back at the end either. But like the last year or two, I did get a nice couple. I'm like, okay, like I wasn't getting this much before, which must mean that I'm giving them more money than I need to be giving them. So I need to reevaluate.
And most of the times we do it because all of our friends looking for income tax return, our parents did it, and we think we have a come up.
Excited.
Well, we got some money.
And I was like, because I'm like, I don't got no kids. So when I get a couple dollars, I'm like, okay, I ain't got no kids to claim, but I'm getting some money back.
Not throwing shade, but it's just a poverty mindset that we've been having instead of getting our money up front like the wealthy people do. Exactly. And like she said, if you know better, you do better.
You do better. Okay, so one thing, a hot topic, and I've been hearing a lot, is like life insurance. So, why might somebody consider a life insurance policy, Kevin? Why do I'm young, I feel like I have time, my mom, I don't have any kids, so what am I getting life insurance
it's not
for?
just about the person that's single, but this overall, right? This overall, if you probably a lot of your audience have children, and those are the main people who really need what I like to call income protection.
Okay.
The industry call it life insurance, but I'm like, if you got phone insurance, replace your car. I mean, replace your phone. You got car insurance, replace your car. Homeowners insurance, replace your house. Life insurance can't replace life. Never have, never will.
Right.
But it's there to replace that person's income.
Okay.
So you don't want to just have life insurance just for burial expenses, because it's devastating that mom or dad are gone. But when that money stops coming in, that devastation lasts a lot longer. So if something happens to you, somebody's financial responsibility is for burial expenses. Somebody's responsibility to take care of the kids' college education, to feed the kids, to put clothes on their back. If that money is gone, then that devastation, the whole family dynamics is totally changed. So life insurance, in my opinion, is the most important aspect when it comes to financial planning. However, the myth is that people always need life insurance when you don't. When you get to the point where you're financially independent, you no longer need life insurance. Because if you got $500,000 saved up, if you pass away, your mom gets that. So there's enough to take care of the house, to take care of anything else. If you had kids, it'll take care of that. So most wealthy people don't carry life insurance. But so you don't need it all the time. But when you're younger and got responsibilities, you need it.
A Kim Kardashian probably wouldn't have it.
No.
Oprah Winfrey
probably wouldn't
have it. Okay, but
unless they have it just to pay taxes.
Okay, gotcha. So, but God forbid anything had happened to me. Like my mom, me having life insurance, that money would help her to pay for my house. That so that's not a new bill for her, or pay for anything that that was in my name that doesn't go away. And
the younger you are, the cheaper it's going to be, and the healthier you are, the cheaper it's going to be. You're only one physical away from finding something that will make you uninsurable. You just never know what's going to happen when you go get that physical. So it's always best to get it while you're young and while you're healthy, because it's a lot less expensive and you can get a lot more coverage. So when you do have a family, that part is already taken care of.
Right. Good. I was talking to a mom earlier, actually, and she was saying how she had her son on her policy. It was just about $30,000 because he was a child rider, which is when you add a child onto your policy. And now he's 25, so at that age, he's no longer on his mom's policy. He has to get his own, or she can pay for his. If you're gonna pay for it, she tried to keep that same $30,000. I said, well, now he's 25, get him more, because she said, well, he doesn't have any kids, he doesn't have any expenses. But I said, get him more, because like Kevin just said, if anything comes up to where he is not insurable, maybe diabetes or anything that could come up for a child that is often diagnosed, early, it could disqualify him from getting that life insurance, or it can be a whole lot more. Even just waiting 5 years, right? $150 for him. I was telling her like $30 a month, right? If he waits just 5 years, that could be $40, $50. So I told her, maybe you take on it for the next 5 years, and then when he turns 30, whichever you want to do. But I think it's important, have it when you're young, because it's going to be cheaper. And if you're healthy, you work out, you're probably going to get preferred rating, which is just above standard rating. So
let's just say I'm paying $30 a month. How long do I pay this for? How long am I locked into that 30? Does that go up each month, each year? Like, what does that look like? So with us, there are all life insurance, even all term, is not created equal, guys. But with us, it is a level term policy. So if you get a 30-year term, it's going to be level, so it doesn't change for those 30 years. So you're going to pay that $30 for 30 years versus waiting. Like if somebody waited and it went up, then they're going to pay whatever price at that time. But there's different policies out there. I had someone say they got it at their credit union, and it goes, she didn't know. She said it's a term, but when we looked at it, every 5 years is going up. Okay. So all term is not created equal, and I do believe, and it's controversial, but term is the only kind of life insurance that you should have, right?
Absolutely, totally agree. And when we say you have a 30-year term or a 35-year term, it's not a contract that you have to continue to pay that.
Right.
Once you get to the point where we showed you how to become financially independent, you get rid of it, right? So our job is to show you how to be protected now, but show you how to get rid of life insurance by showing you how to accumulate wealth.
Right.
So, but they got these policies out there that cost a cash value or whole life, universal life. Make sure you contact us and we'll show you why that is definitely not the one to have. But just think about this. They're telling you in these cash value policies that you can borrow some money. If you borrow that money, you're borrowing your own money. And if you borrow something, that means you got to do what?
Pay it back.
And if you got to pay something back,
they're going to
charge you interest on your own money. It makes no sense. But for some reason, a lot of people in the middle income families, they have that because the insurance industry sells it that you're saving money and you have a death benefit at the same time. Where you should only have, like, you don't have a car insurance and they have savings attached to it. Right. You don't have phone insurance and they have savings attached to it. Why do it with life insurance?
Right. And not only that, the cash value usually doesn't even have a high rate of return. So you're not really going to accumulate anything in the first 3 years. it goes to the insurance agent as commission. So it's just never a good product. And I think a lot of, like with millennials, everything they're getting is from TikTok. TikTok told me to do this. TikTok told me to try this. TikTok says you need this. But you have to do your fact finding. You have to get information, and you know, just double check it. Not because you saw TikTok said to, you know, wear your shoes backwards, you're gonna wear your shoes backwards. No, right? So you do have to fact find and fact check.
And I know with me, like, sometimes you don't want to do that work, but that's what they're here for. We have to use our resources and our tools, and they are a tool and a resource to use. So like I said, their information will be in the description. So reach out and find out what you need to find out. They are here. They know all the information. Because I'm one of those people, like, I'm not going to say like I'm a lazy person, but like research was just never my thing. And if somebody has done they've done the courses, they've been through the classes, they know what they're talking about, use them and talk to them. So now we're gonna jump into budgeting. This, I like this topic because I think I'm a pretty good budgeter, but you can always get better. Shaleah, how might budgeting help parents with being able to afford and raise a child? Like, it seems simple, but like, we have parents out here living paycheck to paycheck and they can't afford to buy things like uniforms that are a necessity when their kids are going to school, or to do things that are needed for them.
Yeah, I think budgeting is so important, and I think right now, especially I'm not a parent, but I have siblings that are parents, I have nieces and nephews, I have clients, and I see that the hard part for a lot of parents is their child wants something and they want to give it to them because they feel like they didn't have it or their parents didn't do it for them. But I think at what point do we draw the line, right? Like, your child's asking you every day for $10 for Robux. That's $50 in a week now that you just gave them because they wanted it. Whereas you could have put that $50 once in the month to invest for their education. Yeah. Or to invest for them to start their first business if they don't want to.
And I don't want to cut you off. And some parents may think that, like, well, I wasn't able to get this when I was younger, so I'm trying to change and give my kid everything that I wasn't able to give. And what I'm getting from just this conversation is, well, you could be putting that into some type of savings and giving them something that you didn't have, which was funds to go to college, start a business, or whatever it is that they want to do in the future.
Right. Yeah, because that can make, I'm not saying you have to be strict on your kids and don't give them whatever they want, but maybe it's not Chick-fil-A, right? Maybe it's, you know, setting up that account, and it doesn't have to only be you. Like, it can be you set up that account, and now for Christmas is coming up, birthdays, graduations, you know how the kids have like graduation from kindergarten and middle school. Now graduations, your parents can write them a check, or the cousins, like, maybe you got them everything they wanted for Christmas up to this point, and you don't want them to open any more toys. Well, have your family now write them a check for their investment account, and, you know, in their name, and that contributes to their money that they have. And kids will get excited. I think seeing that, whether you choose to show it to them or not, if you do show it to them, they can be excited about, look what I have now, you know, look how much money I have now. And I think that can make a generational difference for them. One, because you're also teaching them discipline.
As they get older, you really want to get them involved with the whole financial thing. Show them a statement, where it was, show them where it is. And when they're super young, they can have so many toys anyway. Yeah, right. So you start making sacrifices today. Do the things today that other people won't do, and they'll have tomorrow what other people won't have. So they might not have all these designer clothes, but they don't understand designer clothes anyway. They're 3-4 years old. They don't understand what Jordache is or what Nike, unless you put it in their head that they're not quality shoes, but they're gonna grow out of it anyway. So you just get them the things that they need, not what they want. Your budgeting and their budgeting gonna be a lot better off down the road.
So that's really, really good. And this could be self-explanatory too, but this goes a lot with when we're talking about budgets. How important, Kevin, is it for you to have an idea of how much you receive and spend each month?
That's very huge. Your income should match your budget. And unfortunately, we spend money so frivolously along the way. A lot of people are buying lunch every day because they have it. So we live in paycheck to paycheck. And unfortunately, most people live in paycheck to paycheck because they choose to, not because they have to. If we have money left over at the end of the month, we spend it, and we think that's part of the budget. No, that's not part of the budget. You're just making it part of the budget because you know you have another paycheck coming down the road. So instead of buying lunch every day, let's say it's $5 a day, that's $25 a week, that's $100 a month just on food. But you're probably spending more than that these days to buy lunch, and then you got dinner. So you just got to start packing a lunch, and you'll see that money in your savings account or checking account starts to slowly but surely start adding up. And like, wow, I was spending this kind of money on stupid stuff.
Right.
And I can speak a little bit to this. We talked about this earlier where, you know, he said the packing the lunch. My mom, this is something she did back in the day where we had to make the dollar stretch. My mom packed my lunch for me every single day, like all through school. And I was always the one, like, you know, when you're doing something, you always want to do the opposite. I was like, I wanted to, you know, have some school lunch. So there was a kid there, like we always used to trade, and he wanted my sandwich and my hot chips. And I'm like, well, I want the pizza or I want the spaghetti. And we would switch. But my mom was making a dollar stretch. If she ever struggled, I never had an idea. It was always my mom and I. But she always made sure we were good, but she did things that made sense and were beneficial so that, like, you know, we're gonna pack lunch because that's cheaper than, you know, me giving you money every day because I didn't get free lunch. And I think that, you know, resonated with me and stuck with me because now meal prepping isn't a hard thing for me. Meal prepping, you know, especially trying to live like a healthy lifestyle, it's hard for a lot of people. You think it's like simple because you do it, but it's like that saves me money. I am by myself, so $30 to $50, and I'm able to make meals Monday through Friday, and I'm covering breakfast, lunch, and dinners, and a snack. You spending $5 or $10 on just one meal a day, add that up. That's just one meal, and I'm covering all 3 meals. Not gonna lie and say I don't eat out. Saturday, I'm gonna eat out. That's my cheat day. Sunday, I might even grab a meal to eat out on Sunday, but still, that is still saving me so much more money compared to if I was eating out Monday through Sunday. Like, that's so much money. And a lot of us go through our budgets and see that so much money is being spent on food, just eating out, when you could just go shopping and grocery shopping.
Right, and that goes back to what I was just saying. Like, when you show the kid the discipline, it translates into their adult life. Like, you know, because Niall's mom did that, now it's a habit for her. She's disciplined in that regard, and you never know, like, kids are always watching. So I think showing them that discipline, like, no, we can't have Chick-fil-A versus I'm going to just put it on my card, or I'll just, you know, give it to them anyway because they ask. Because, you know, well, I'm not even going to say Chick-fil-A because I like Chick-fil-A, but the kids always want McDonald's, right. You know. So I think that that's very important. I think you hit it right exactly. Another thing, though, while we're on that topic, because I think you do a really good job when it comes to budgeting. Nai's always the one that's like, okay, I have this, that, and you've always been that way. I think you can even talk to, you know, when we talk about expenses, I mean, people probably look at you from the outside and say, oh, well, she's always traveling, right? Because Nai takes her trips, but you plan for it, right? Yes. You don't just...
I cannot plan a trip 2 weeks out and then just like, all right, I'm paying for it. No. One, I like to invite as much people as I can, but also myself. I am not rich, but I'm also, and it's not like I couldn't plan like just a month out and just pay for it, but financially, I like to budget, and I just do things in a planner and organized way. So my birthday, so I'll be 30 next year. On my 29th birthday, I sent out a text. Y'all, this where I'm going, this how much it's going to be. You can start paying on it now. I'm planning for that so that it doesn't hit me so hard once and I just take a big financial cut when I try to plan to go somewhere. I don't want to feel like I'm losing anything when I go to plan and pay for something that may have, you know, a bigger value than what I'm doing on a normal day to day. And that comes with anything. So all the trips, like a lot of times I use a what's it called? A travel agent. That was the word. So I use a travel agent. Very, very useful. You could be your own travel agent and find things out. But travel agent helped me. She puts everything together, and it's basically like me just using my tools and my resources, just like these two. A tool and the resources. They have all the knowledge. They can tell you what to do and how to do it. It's just up to you to do it and make the best of it. So we're gonna wrap up with one last question, and that question is, I'll go to you, Kevin. How might paying yourself first help your cash flow and budget?
Well, this is what I teach my nieces and my nephews, because I don't have any kids either, but I teach them how to pay themselves first, right? If you get to the point where you're paying yourself 10% of everything you make, outside of tithing, I'm a tither first, outside of that, but then your financial situation down the road is going to increase tremendously. All of them will be millionaires before they turn 46 years old, because they're in that concept of putting money away right now, all right? It's paying themselves first. So if you make $100, you typically only made $90. If you got a raise for $5,000, then you take 10% of that, $50, you put that away every month. Every time you make more money, you put that first 10% to yourself, well, after tithing. So I'm not going to get to the biblical part of it, but you understand what I'm saying. You put 10% away, and then it becomes a habit, right? And when it becomes a habit, you don't even know it's missing because it's already gone, and you put it away.
Absolutely, it's so good. Anything to add to that?
He hit it.
You want to adopt me as a niece or nephew? No, he did. I should have listened earlier. But no, I'll start putting up that extra money now, and just utilizing them both so that I can make the best financial decisions for me in my cash.
So I actually will say something, because I think a lot of people, they hear the concept paying yourself first, but they're thinking about everything else that they have to pay for. And that's again where the budget comes into place, so that you can see, okay, you know what, I can put away this. And I think an important thing is, you know, we're telling you these numbers and how much you should be. It's not just putting $500 into a CD at the bank, or putting $500 into your bank account each month. When we say 500 or 400, 200, it's making sure that you're getting that right rate of return. And that's where we come into play, showing you, you know, through mutual funds, which is a whole nother, you know, conversation, but showing you how to do it and get the right rate of return. A lot of people will tell me, oh, I'm doing it on my own, but I ask them questions and then they really don't know, right? So it makes a difference when you're doing it and doing it the right way, right? Like, you can be in the gym and you might have watched something through Instagram or TikTok, but maybe you're not doing it the right way, so you're not going to really reap all the benefits of it. You might actually get hurt. So that's, you know, one of the things that when it comes to paying yourself first, you should use a financial coach to get started, because you want to make sure you're doing the right thing, and that later down the road you will be a millionaire, you will be retired and living your best life. So I think
it's like a personal trainer. You don't have to stick with the personal trainer forever. They show you how to do things the right way, and then you can go off and do them on your own, but you have all the necessary tools to do them. You know what you're doing, you know you're doing it the right way. So it makes logical sense. It's just like, I feel like our generation, we don't know what we don't know. Like, our community, we don't know what we don't know. So here I am trying to bring you guys some knowledge. I don't have all the keys, but I'll definitely bring people on that do have the keys. And I know this segment, this was a lot of information at once. You might be like, I need more, I need more. We will have more videos like this coming very, very soon. So we can make sure we're doing what we're supposed to be doing with our finances and budgeting, saving, and breaking generational curses, and, you know, creating new generational patterns that are going to make us and our family and our children's children and our children's children comfortable, wealthy, and well off. So we're wrapping up here. Shaleah, any last words for the Spice Squad? Anything you want to leave with them? And again, information will be down below on how to contact them both.
I just say don't wait to get started, because a lot of times people will say, hey, I don't have it, or I want to wait until I get to X point. Like, we do that even in our personal lives, right? Like, you know, at one point, you know, I always worked out all my life, but at one point I hit this season where I'm like, okay, I want to come back to my gym, but I kind of want to get in my rhythm first before I go. But that makes no sense. Like, that's what the coaches are there for. That's what is like in anything, you know, that's what it's there for. So utilize it. And for the Spice Squad, it's complimentary. So we want to help you. We want to make sure you get on the right track. And, you know, the same way that we squeeze it in for our, you know, nails, our lashes, our hair, you know, all those different things. It's just exactly all that stuff. It's just as important, and you want to make sure you do it now, so later down the road you can, you know, you're not getting it out of the mud, right? Yeah. And you're able to help your family. Kevin was telling us earlier, he took his famy, you know, all of 14 family members on a cruise.
That's
right?
Crazy. He's not a Kardashian. Look at him. He looks like us. He took 14 family members on a cruise. They had to pay for nothing. They just said, I'm going to pack my bag. I'm out of here. We're going on a cruise. Right. All paid for it.
Now, imagine if you could be that person. Imagine if you could be that person for your family. You watch those videos, those feel-good videos, you know, and I think that it starts with the discipline. It starts with taking action now.
It starts now. Like, you know what I'm saying? It starts now. No matter how old you are, it starts now. Kevin, anything you want to leave us?
Yeah, and that was actually part one. So part two is this year for the other side of the family. We're going on a cruise, and we all have balconies. Like, they not in the inside cabin. Everybody have.
They got balconies.
Yeah, we have it's a different way to travel. When you get one, you never stop traveling with a balcony. But we already established that rich people have financial planners. And if rich people keep getting richer, we're financial planners. It makes sense for us to at least listen to it. A lot of people sometimes say, all right, wait till I get this in order and then I would do it. That's just like saying, let me get my life together before I go to church. It just, you're supposed to come as you are. You go to the hospital, you don't go there when you're well, you go there when you're sick. So we're like your financial doctors. And like she said, it's totally complimentary because you're part of the Spice Squad. So let's sit down and learn some things about money. Number one. Number two, this industry out there is just wide open. 97% of people don't understand money. So a lot of things we talked about, people don't understand. So we're doing some major expanding right now. We need more young millennials to come into this industry that we're willing to train and help develop. So if you're looking to do some, if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you're looking for a career change, or you're just looking to make some extra money from home, we'll love to sit down and train you and teach you how to help some other people of that 97% that don't understand money. And if 97% of people don't understand money, what does that spell with a big O? Opportunity, right? People always going to need to understand money. And we need help. We really need help. Just like you need help learning it, we need help to keep spreading this word to some other people.
Yes, thanks, Kevin. So a big shout out, a big thank you to Shaleah and Kevin. Thank you guys so much for coming on and informing us. I learned so much. I'm sure you guys have as well. It's a lot of information to take in. Don't think you have to digest it all now or unpack it all now. Their information is down below. So make sure you reach out to them because we are in the season. We'll start 2023 off with some appointments, some consultations, and figure out how we're going to plan for the year of 2023. So y'all know what I always say. First of all, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and remember to be the light wherever you go because wherever you go, the light shall follow. Bye.